Our movie starts with the rebellious angel who was expelled from heaven, and a war broke out, and every angel had to choose the side he would stand with, and an angel appeared who refused to choose and refused to fight, and that nothing was worth the war except love. And at that moment he and all those who refused to choose a side in the war that happened were exiled and descended to earth, and they all remained exiled until the walking angel who refused to choose a side decides which side he will choose. And at that moment they will return to their place again and are called the descended. And we come to the present time. Lucy and her family enter her into a boarding school called the School of the Cross, and her mother gives her a gift for her 17th birthday before she leaves her and tells her to open it later, and she enters the school and meets the supervisor, Randy, and he tells her that the school specializes in serving and educating teenagers who have failed in traditional educational institutions and are greedy for university studies. And while he is talking, she finds that the officer is inside with a student whose name is Cam, who tried to escape from the school. He returns to school again and continues talking to Lucy, and takes from her any metal or anything that could harm herself with, and takes her mobile and the gift that she got from her mother, and asks a student named Ariane to take Lucy on a tour of the school and show her the dorm rooms. And Ariane tells her that there are some problem students, and it is better for her to stay away from them, and that the building has 3 floors and is divided according to the danger of the students, and that the 3rd floor has the crazy ones who could kill themselves easily, and Aria tells her that her room is on the 2nd floor, number 208, and she asks about her room number, and Luce answers that it is on the 3rd floor and leaves, and goes up to the room and rests a little, and wakes up to memories of her and a fire in a big house, and then meets the psychiatrist, and it is useful for her to take the medicine, and then she can return to her normal life and her family, but she refuses to take the medicine because she feels that she is not herself, and that she would rather be in this school than take the medicine and go to the library to receive her textbook from Miss Sophia. And Lucy goes up to her room and finds Molly, her colleague on the same floor, trying to bully her and calling her a psycho killer, and before they fight together, the supervisor, Randy, comes and tells Lucy that if she gets into any trouble, she will be transferred to a mental hospital, and it is better for her to stay away from trouble completely, and Lucy goes to the bathroom to get a little annoyed and meets her colleague, Benno, who is with her in her first subject. And they attend together, and Sophia begins to explain to them the story of the fallen, and the story of the devil who was banished to hell, and the saviors only. They are the ones who stayed, as for the angels who hesitated in choosing were banished to earth and called the fallen, but they were divided into 2 groups. Half of the angels remained and are waiting for the opportunity to return to heaven, and the other half enjoys harming and chaos for humans, and the group that cannot leave earth until the rebellious angel chooses a side, whether heaven or hell, and she knows Professor Sophia tells Lucy that she is not religious and that she did not get her baptism from her church. The class ends, and Lucy goes down to clean the schoolyard as punishment for her nickname with Molly. She finds that, Daniel very angry, and he increases his duel with her until he throws her to the ground and leaves, while he is afraid for her as if she was really injured, and the duel between them ends, and Arian appears while she is slapping her friends, and tells them that Lucy will remember Daniel in a week at most, and Ronald tells them that once she remembers, she will not live long, and will die, and no one will be able to prevent what happens every time, and Lucy and Ben go to change their training clothes, and Lucy says that she feels like she knows Daniel before, and that she has seen him a lot, but she does not remember where she saw him, and she may have seen him at school when they were young, but Ben contradicts her words. She says to me that this is difficult to happen because she knows something that no one else knows about him, because she volunteered in office work with the supervisor, Randy. And because he is completely ignorant in using computers, he leaves the computer to her to access whatever she wants as she pleases, including all the students' files. The strange thing is that Daniel does not have any papers related to his studies in his file, or Information about his family or his home address, although he just came from last year, and his file is empty like the file of his friend Gabby, who came after he came to school. Warren said the same thing, and Molly, Ronald, Cam, and Miss Sophia, who does not like to deal with anyone except them only. Ben and Lucy go to Ronald's party that he threw in the forest next to the school. He arrives at the party, and Lucy goes to get her and her friend something to drink, but she is harassed by Molly, who keeps harassing her with fire and tells her that she is the reason for the death of her friend Trevor, so she set the house on fire and burned it inside. Before Lucy gets angry, Arian comes to take Lucy to keep her away, and Camel goes to Molly and threatens to hurt her if she comes near Lucy again, and he can strangle her without touching her as a warning to her, and Lucy returns alone through the forest and feels that someone is watching her, and she sees other visions and remembers what happened to her lover Trevor, and that she was the reason for the house fire and Trevor's death until the visions end. And she returns to the university and meets her friend Banani one day and tells her that Molly bothered her and talked about the incident that happened to her and about her friend Trevor, and that this information was only in her file. And she tells her that she sent her information to Molly, but Ben is able to defend herself and tells her that she does not hate Molly and does not like to talk about her, and that she must have gotten this information from someone else. And Lucy tells her about the reason she entered Ben's school, and that she was with her friend Trevor one day, and that she went with him to his house, but while she was with him, she started to see shadows that were. She is used to seeing her, but this time the shadows were bigger than every time, and all at once everything caught fire, and she found herself outside the house, and Trevor could not escape and died because of her, and she became afraid to get close to anyone because she posed a danger to her. But Ben tries to comfort her and tells her that she is her friend and will never leave her and will stay by her side. And Lucy goes to her class and reads Sophia's pain in Latin and asks the students to translate it, and Lucy is able to translate it with ease, even though it is the first time she hears Latin and has never studied it before. And Daniel draws a picture, then cuts it and throws it in the trash, and Lucy takes care of him. And after the class ends, she returns with the excuse that she forgot her jacket to take the drawing, but she hears Sophia talking to Daniel and tells him to be careful and that the statue accident was his doing, and he sees that Lucy is there and hears them, and Lucy goes out to the garden. She looks at Daniel's drawing and finds that he drew her. Daniel comes after her and tells her that he wants to walk with him for a while. She asks about what he was doing during the lesson, and he tells her that he is writing a romantic story and that he still doesn't know the ending. Lucy wants to hear the story from him, and he tells her that he is writing the story about two people who love each other very much, but they cannot stay together because of a curse that the devil cast on them, because he was jealous of their love for each other. They meet every 17 years, and when they are at their happiest together, the girl dies and leaves her lover broken until he meets her again. Her lover does not grow up or forget her, and his appearance does not change, but the girl changes every time and has a new name and is different. But in the end, she loves the young man, and the same ending happens to her, and there is no way to break the curse, because her lover tried every possible way, but failed in the end. His lover dies in front of him, and Lucy shows him the picture he drew for her and the place in the drawing. So he tells her that he took her as an example of the hero of the story, nothing more, and that the place of the story is in Paris in the year 1723. She asks him to describe the place to her because she feels that she has visited it before, even though she has never been outside her city, and she is sure of every detail in the place he drew, such as the palms at the end of the street full of jasmine flowers, and that the owner of the Café C loves his dog more than he loves his wife. She does not know how she knows all these things, but she is sure that she has been in this place before, and she is sure that she was with him. But he tells her to wake up from the dreams she is in, and that this is impossible because it is the first time he has seen her. He leaves and returns to the university and is on the roof of the university watching them. He goes to Lucy's room at the end of the night and brings her a cake for her birthday. He tells her that if she wants to know the answers to the questions she has, she should meet him in the tunnel. He leaves his gift for her on the door of the room and walks, and she opens the door of her room and finds a dress, and on it is her mother's gift that she took from her as soon as she entered school, and it is a chain on the occasion of her turning 17, and he takes it to spend the evening at a casino, and he also tries to get close to her, but Daniel suddenly appears and moves away from her, and they say that he is with the devil, and he will get angry if he gets close to her, and she sees him, and they fight because of her, and she leaves and returns to the mosque and goes to tell her friend's daughter what happened, and she is sure that Daniel has known her for a long time, and there was a previous life in which they loved each other, and she did not believe in the subject of reincarnation, which is the transfer of the same soul to more than one body over time. But now she began to doubt that this is what is happening to her, and she tells her that she knows how to help, and she takes and goes to her friend T, who is working on a new program that can search on the pictures by face and runs his program on Daniel's face, and shows many pictures throughout the ages of a person exactly the same as Daniel, and a picture of Daniel's wife appears who looks very similar to Lucy, and the picture is from 1854. And Lucy hears his voice and keeps walking behind her, and it appears that someone is watching her in the library until she finds the shadows appear again and ignite the whole place around her, and the fire is burning from everywhere, and she faints from the smoke until she finds that Daniel is carrying her, and she is lifted off the ground and wakes up the next day. And she is in the school clinic and hears Gabby talking to Arian that they could have helped her save her from what happened. But they failed, and the school holds a funeral because of the loss of a student from the students in the library fire that happened, and that this student is Todd. And Lucy wakes up from the coma she was in and finds that Ben, her friend, is sleeping next to her to reassure her, and she cannot believe that she has woken up and prepares and tells her what happened, and that Todd died in the fire. Lucy tries to comfort her and apologize for what happened. Lucy wakes up in the middle of the night and looks out her window and finds Daniel sitting in her room guarding her. She gets dressed and goes to him and takes the picture of her and Daniel's face before he died. They meet and tell him that she remembers everything and that he saved her from the library. She noticed that their picture was taken in 1854 and that she lived her whole life and people called her crazy. It's time to prove to herself that she's not crazy. She goes up to the letter W and jumps on it because she thinks Daniel will save her by any means. She keeps going down in the air, but before she touches the ground, Daniel is able to fly and save her from death. She sees that he has wings and can fly with them. Lucy tries to touch his wings and they are almost transparent. Daniel tells her that he has loved her for a long time and in every life he meets her and can't stay away from her. Suddenly shadows appear around her, and Daniel reassures her and tells her that these shadows are not the cause of the fire, and that she had no hand in the fire that happened, and that someone intended to kill her and burn her, and that these shadows are a mirror of her past while she was with her, and that she can see her entire previous life through these shadows. Her, that Sophia, he tells her that he will take her to a safe place far from the devil, and will try to protect her from him, because he is very close, and he will try for her himself. And all of Daniel's friends go to the safe place with Lucy to protect her from death at the hands of the devil.